Breaking news. We in the middle of the 70th week. The 12 tribes of Israel is waking up. And the trumpets is about to blow. Well, while you was sleeping, the Euphrates River drying up. While you was sleeping, Babylon about to get fired up. Midnight, wake up Jacob for your time's up. Tell the watchman blow the trumpets, now the tribe's up. Yeah.
Hey, keep your eyes open, don't sleep. Stay woke, gotta watch them closely. They say we not at the end, we gon' see. Yeah.
Breaking news. I say Abba willing, tomorrow ain't guaranteed. Tribulation in his mercy, he gon' spare a seed. Plagues coming, tell the Pharaoh he gon' let us free. Angels with us, Daniel 12:1 and Malachim. Blue helmets, who gon' stop the siege? He gon' gather his elect, it's in the prophecies. Heaven to Hades, you know how Mashiach got the keys. Unashamed, when they ask, tell them I believe.
Shalom to all the Jews and Gentiles alike, sending a strong shalom to the children of light. Namaste to all. Y'all already know what the deal is. We can give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, our power, to 𝐁𝐸𝐬𝐿, to Wakanda, the Great Spirits, 𝐻𝐸𝐽 𝐷𝐢𝐻𝐸𝐽𝐬 𝐷𝐢𝐻𝐸𝐽𝐬, the Supreme Consciousness. Acknowledgement to the Earthly Mother and her angels. And acknowledgement to Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahushai, Isa, Matzah the Lamb, Yesiah, the Messiah, Yahusha, the Lion from the tribe of Yehuda, the one the world calls Jesus Christ. So today we're gonna be talking about Nibiru, or should I say the Destroyer or the Frightener, Wormwood. There's multiple names for it. The destruction of these other nations. See, the Destroyer came when the flood came, and it will return once again. And this all coincides with the shift that is going on right now with the earth. The Destroyer is on its way. So we're going to be diving into the Kolbrin Bible. We're going to be going into the Book of Gleanings, chapter 4, verse 24. Then, with the dawning, men saw an awesome sight. There, riding on a great black rolling cloud, came the Destroyer, newly released from the confines of the sky vaults. And she raged about the heavens, for it was her day of judgment. The beast with her opened its mouth and belched forth fire, hot stones, and a vile smoke. It covered the whole sky above, and the meeting place of earth and heaven could no longer be seen. In the evening, the places of the stars were changed. They rolled across the sky to new stations. Then the flood waters came. So the Destroyer showed up when the flood happened with Noah. Now let's read. The floodgates of heaven were opened, and the foundations of earth were broken apart. The surrounding waters poured over the land and broke upon the mountains. The storehouses of the winds burst their bolts asunder. So storms and whirlwinds were loosened to hurl themselves upon the earth. In the seething waters and howling gales, all buildings were destroyed. Trees were uprooted and mountains cast down. There was a time of great heat. Then came a time of bitter cold. The waves over the waters did not rise and fall, but seethed and swirled. There was an awful sound above. The pillars of heaven were broken and fell down to earth. The sky vault was rent and broken. The whole of creation was in chaos. The stars in the heavens were loosened from their places, so they dashed about in confusion. There was a revolt on high. A new ruler appeared there and swept across the sky in majesty. Those who had not labored at the building of the great ship, and those who had mocked the builders came quickly to the place where it was lying. They climbed upon the ship and beat upon it with their hands. They raged and pleaded. Right, this is when the flood happened, when they were on top of that ark. All right, but could not enter inside, nor could they break the wood. As the great ship was borne up by the waters, it rolled, and they were swept off, for there was no foothold for them. The ship was lifted by the mighty surge of waters, and hurled among the debris, but it was not dashed upon the mountainside, because of the place where it was built. All the people not saved within the ship were swallowed up in the midst of raging confusion, and their wickedness and corruption was purged away from the face of the earth. The swelling waters swept up to the mountaintops and filled the valleys. They did not rise like water poured into a bowl, but came in great surging torrents. But when the tumults quietened and the waters became still, they stood no more than 3 cubits above the earth. The destroyer passed away in the fastness of heaven, and the great flood remained 7 days, diminishing day by day as the waters drained away to their places. Then the waters spread out calmly, and the great ship drifted amid a brown scum and debris of all kinds. So as it was in the beginning, so shall it be at the end. The destroyer showed up at the flood, and it's gonna happen again. So if you haven't seen our video on the electromagnetic null zone, this video coincides with that. So let's go to the keys of Enoch. Let's go to key 114, verse 4. Enoch told me that at this time the higher evolution will communicate knowledge to man to prepare him for an exodus as his planet begins to experience geophysical upheavals and the release of neutral matter from the core of the sun. Right, you already see the solar flares going crazy, the wildfires, the earth heating up, the hurricanes, the volcanoes, the earthquakes. And what's so crazy is that these Gentiles out here, okay, especially on TikTok, talking about how, oh, the forest fire that happened in was it Hawaii, Maui, or whatever. Oh, the elites did this. The elites did this. They're burning all these places down. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The earth is heating up. The earth is changing right now. We going through a shift right now. And what's really crazy is that you're dismissing the fact that the Most High and the higher intelligence is all in control, right? You gotta trust the plan. You gotta trust the plan. And it's also weird how they completely dismiss Matthew 24. Okay, like, yeah, that's insane to me. It is absolutely insane. But let me not go on a tangent. Maybe I'll save it for another video. You know what I'm saying? Maybe next video we'll kind of, you know, go on a little rant, you know. But anyways, back to the keys. Go to verse 5. These changes will also be timed with the release of neutral matter within the core of the earth, which has been the cause of cataclysms and catastrophic upheavals during previous geophysical cycles. So this is the reason why we are seeing these solar flares. This is the reason why we're seeing all these volcanoes. This is why we're seeing earthquakes and hurricanes and these forest fires, and the temperature was crazy this month. The hottest summer this year apparently is because we are going through a shift right now. We are in a space-time overlap. We are approaching the end right now. Okay, and so when the destroyers show up, you don't want to be here. You trying to get with the higher intelligences so you can get up on out of here. All right, which means you got to get your vessel right. We did a video on the Merkaba. Go watch the video on the Merkaba if you haven't already. Now let's go back to the Kolbrin Bible. Let's go to the book of manuscripts, chapter 3, verse 1. From the top. Men forget the days of the destroyer. Only the wise know where it went and that it will return in its appointed hour. It raged across the heavens in the days of wrath. and this was its likeness. It was a billowing cloud of smoke, enwrapped in a ruddy glow, not distinguishable in joint or limb. Its mouth was an abyss from which came flame, smoke, and hot cinders. When ages pass, certain laws operate upon the stars in the heavens. Their ways change, there is movement and restlessness. They are no longer constant, and a great light appears redly in the skies. When blood drops upon the earth, the destroyer will appear, and mountains will open and belch forth fire and ashes. Trees will be destroyed and all living things engulfed. Waters will be swallowed up by the land, and seas will boil. Now let's get a precept out of the Quran. We're going to Surah 81 from the top. When the sun is put out, and when the stars fall down, and when the mountains are blown away, and when pregnant camels are left untended, and when wild beasts are gathered together, and when the seas are set on fire, and when the souls and their bodies are paired once more, and when baby girls buried alive are asked for what crime they were put to death, and when the records of deeds are laid open, and when the sky is stripped away, and when the hellfire is fiercely flared up, and when paradise is brought near. On that day, each soul will know what deeds it has brought along. Now let's go back to the book of manuscripts in the Kolbrin. Verse 5. The heavens will burn brightly and redly. There will be a copper hue over the face of the land, followed by a day of darkness. A new moon will appear and break up and fall. The people will scatter in madness. They will hear the trumpet and battle cry of the destroyer, and will seek refuge within dens in the earth. Terror will eat away their hearts, and their courage will flow from them like water from a broken pitcher. They will be eaten up in the flames of wrath and consumed by the breath of the destroyer. Thus it was in the days of heavenly wrath, which have gone, and thus it will be in the days of doom when it comes again. The times of its coming and going are known unto the wise. These are the signs and times which shall precede the destroyer's return. 110 generations shall pass into the west, and nations will rise and fall. Men will fly in the air as birds, and swim the seas as fishes. Men will talk peace one with another. Hypocrisy and deceit shall have their day. Women will be as men, and men as women. Passion will be a plaything of man. Hold up, pause. Ain't that happening right now? The women are just overly masculine, right? They saying they don't need no man. They good on their own. They got they job. They making money, right? They're overpowering the men. The men are really feminine now. They're letting the women control them, manipulate them. People want to hook up nowadays, right? It's just some play thing, you know, it's whatever, right? Gotta rack up that body count. You know, I'm gonna go over here and sleep with that dude. Oh, I'm gonna sleep with that dude next week. Oh, I'm gonna sleep with this one dude right here, right now. You know, you see, all the signs are there. Let's go to chapter 4, verse 2. This is the thing which will be seen. This is the terror your eyes will behold. This is the form of destruction that will rush upon you. There will be the great body of fire, the glowing head with many mouths and eyes ever changing. Terrible teeth will be seen in formless mouths, and a fearful dark belly will glow redly from fires inside. Even the most stout-hearted man will tremble, and his bowels will be loosened, for this is not a thing understandable to men. It will be a vast, sky-spanning form enwrapping earth, burning with many hues within wide-open mouths. These will descend to sweep across the face of the land, engulfing all in the yawning jaws. The greatest warriors will charge against it in vain. The fangs will fall out, and lo, they are terror-inspiring things of cold, hardened water. Great boulders will be hurled down upon men, crushing them in red powder. As the great salt waters rise up in its train, and roaring torrents pour towards the lands, even the heroes among mortal men will be overcome with madness. As moths fly swiftly to their doom in the burning flame, so will these men rush to their own destruction. The flames going before will devour all the works of men. The waters following will sweep away whatever remains. The dew of death will fall softly as a great carpet over the cleared land. Men will cry out in their madness, "Oh, whatever being there is, save us from this tall form of terror. Save us from the gray dew of death." Chapter 5 from the top. The doom shape, called the Destroyer, in Egypt, was seen in all the lands thereabouts. In color, it was bright and fiery in appearance, changing and unstable. It twisted about itself like a coil, like water bubbling into a pool from an underground supply. And all men agreed it was a most fearsome sight. It was not a great comet or a lucent star, being more like a fiery body of flame. So even the Destroyer showed up in Egypt when the Israelites were in bondage, right? Those 10 plagues. It's when the Destroyer showed up. Its movements on high were slow. Below, it swirled in the manner of smoke and remained close to the sun, whose face it hid. There was a bloody redness about it, which changed as it passed along its course. It caused death and destruction in its rising and setting. It swept the earth with gray cinder rain and caused many plagues, hunger, and other evils. It bit the skin of men and beasts until they became mottled with sores. Let's go to verse 4. This was the aspect of the doom shape, called the Destroyer, when it appeared in days long gone by in olden times. It is thus described in the old records, few of which remain. It is said that when it appears in the heavens above, earth splits open from the heat, like a nut roasted before the fire. Then flames shoot up to the surface and leap about like fiery fiends upon black blood. The moisture inside the land is all dried up. The pastures and cultivated places are consumed in flames, and they and all trees become white ashes. The doom shape is like a circling ball of flame, which scatters small fiery offspring in its train. It covers about a fifth part of the sky and sends writhing, snake-like fingers down to earth. Before it, the sky appears frightened, and it breaks up and scatters away. Midday is no brighter than night. It spawns a host of terrible things. These are things said of the Destroyer in the old records. Read them with solemn heart, knowing that the doom shape has its appointed time and will return. It would be foolish to let them go unheeded. Now men say such things are not destined for our days, right? People gonna look at this video and they're gonna be like, man, you out here reading nonsense. It's not even scripture. You going to hell. Bunch of nonsense. The great God above grants that this be so, but come, the day surely will, and in accordance with his nature, man will be unprepared. See, most people are unprepared. They still distracted with the things of the world and still worrying about the matters of the flesh. Right? People out here talking about, oh, well, the forest fires and the elites are doing this. They have their geoengineering and they're doing this. I'm telling you, they're doing this. It can't be a higher power. It can't be the earth is changing, is heating up. Come on, man. Craziness. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. That's gonna be it for this lesson. Hopefully you learned something new, got something out of it, you ate good, and I say shalom and stay strong.